G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. It's mid-morning, I've got the day off work today, so I thought I'd come up here to the Opera House and just bask in this beautiful, beautiful morning sun. It's a glorious blue Sydney autumn day, but the wind has a bit of a chill factor, and it's a sunny day with teeth, as the Greeks often say. But check out how blue it is, not a cloud to be seen anywhere. A glorious, glorious day. And what I want to do today is I just want to sit here in the corner to be out of the wind. I'll just focus on the Opera House there, the Harbour Bridge there for you. And I've got the Opera House just above me. And I want to talk about a book summary about a great leader. And the book summary is on Alexander the Great. A person who changed the face of history, a person who laid a foundation for civilization to be able to permeate and to infuse into other cultures and to receive other cultures as well. And Alexander the Great lived to the age of 32 or 33. So in a very, very short amount of time, he was able to achieve a greatness that very, very few leaders who have gone before him or have come after him have been able to achieve. So to all the young people out there, you've got to understand that there are people, regardless of their age, who have been able to achieve a lot in a very short period of time because they've been focused, they've been committed, and they've had that desire. So Alexander the Great, as we said, lived for about 33 years, and one of his famous quotes is as follows, where Alexander the Great said that there's nothing impossible to him who will try. Nothing impossible to him who will try. And Alexander the Great did indeed try and achieved significant outcomes. And they also say that through every generation of the human race, there's been a constant war, a war with fear. Those who have the courage to conquer it are made free, and those who are conquered by it are made to suffer until they have the courage to defeat it or death takes them. What a profound paragraph that is. Through every generation, we've got to understand that fear has been around since the day of Adam and Eve. Every generation has been at constant war with fear. Fear has been that one thing that has stopped so many people in their tracks and has imprisoned so many people over the years. And the authors tell us that the person who's able to conquer their fears through action, through bold action, are the ones who are set free, and the ones who can't conquer that fear spend the rest of their life imprisoned, defeated, until death takes them. So to put things into perspective, Alexander the Great's empire was bigger than the Roman Empire, but smaller than the Persian Empire. But he defeated the Persians as well. So, in his time, and in his space, it all happened at a time which had the greatest impact on the future of the world. And the big lessons that Alexander was able to learn and to leverage was that you always need to bundle your energy, your resources, and your strength, and direct them to one specific thing. You know, with his technology, breakthroughs in technology and innovation, and his leadership skills, he was able to channel people's energy and focus so that with few people, with small armies, he was able to achieve massive outcomes and massive results. So as we said, it's important to learn how to bundle your resources and not allow others to undermine you or to break you down. One of the things that he did was he knew that the Hellenic, the Greek navy, was nowhere near as strong as the Persian navy. So what he did was he disbanded his navy, but used all of those resources to block all the docks along the Mediterranean coastline so that the Persian navy had nowhere to dock, nowhere to gain their supplies from, and hence nowhere to create inroads to be a threat to him and his army. So he was a great strategist, but he knew how to bundle and use his resources for one specific outcome. The other thing that he was great at, and he teaches all of us about, was that you need to do what people won't expect you to do. Let me get out of that wind because it'll be buffeting the mic. So it's all about doing things to outsmart others, because people use their rationale, people try and second guess us all the time. But it's key, it's important to be a moving target, according to Alexander the Great, and to do the things that people don't expect you to do. So to be innovative, to be impulsive, but impulsive in a way which is focused. So that's another very, very powerful lesson for young people, and also for the older ones as well. You know, don't be too predictable. Is one lesson, especially when you're competing against other people, not when you're in a relationship with other people. Because when you're in a relationship with other people, you need to be predictable. But when you're Alexander the Great and you're fighting the Persians, you need to be unpredictable, because you don't want to have a relationship with them until, of course, you defeat them and then you take them into your yoke. But the third point in this book is the point that I love the most, and I tear up when I read it and when I think about it. Because what they say, a lot of people say that if it wasn't for Alexander the Great, if it wasn't for his empire, if it wasn't for him spreading the Greek culture, the Greek language, the Greek thought pattern, because we mustn't forget that Alexander the Great was tutored by a great philosopher in Aristotle. So Alexander, his generals, spread architecture, they spread customs, they spread language, they spread the Greek thought, they spread religion, they spread many, many things, education, medicine, the sciences. Much of that they'd taken, incorporated, and moved on. So as we say in Jim's 5am Club all the time, live, learn and pass it on. This was one of Alexander the Great's greatest missions and greatest outcomes, was that he passed on the gift of the Greek thought. He passed on the gifts of Greek philosophy. He passed on the gifts of religion. He passed on the gifts of community, of government, of working with people and through people, as opposed to against people. So he encouraged people to, incorporate and to mix their cultures with the Greek culture to make an even greater culture for themselves. Alexander the Great, as we said, his greatest feat was to lay a foundation of Greek thought, of education, of religion, of structure, to enable Christianity to flourish at a time and to create an audience which touched 3 continents. Because when Alexander died at 32, he touched 3 continents. And after he died, his generals took over. They took over Egypt. They took up over 3 continents. And during that time, they added value to these continents. They made those continents great. And as we said, they laid a foundation of thinking, of education, of community, of communication, of religion, a massive, massive basis, which translated into a foundation that allowed Christianity to flourish and to take root. So the 3 continents that Alexander touched were Greece, Persia, which is Iran, Egypt, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. And he not only influenced Christianity, but he also influenced Judaism, Buddhism, and Islam. And it comes as no surprise that Alexander the Great is mentioned in the Quran. The architecture, the sculpture, the art of Buddhism is also influenced by Greek thought and by Greek art. So let's not forget that ancient Greek was the language of the intellectuals. And in the Roman Empire, they used Greek to communicate. They used it in Egypt, and it was also used to translate Hebrew, the Jewish texts, into Greek. And the early Christians, the Hellenized Greeks, would have been reading the Old Testament in Greek. So as you can see, the Greek language has been able to fuse, to join, to link many cultures together and to form the basis of Christianity, and was able to join a huge community. So if it wasn't for Alexander the Great, then many say that Christianity may not have taken root. And some also say that it was Alexander the Great. He was part of the solution. He could even be considered as one of the early prophets to lay the foundation, lay the way, lay the road to enable Christianity, as I said, to take root, and the mission of God to be spread throughout the civilized world. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me on this cold morning, but where I'm standing here, I'm not being buffeted by the wind, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I look forward to coming to you again from a different location with a different message. and hopefully we can live, learn and pass it on, and continue to be partners in each other's growth and development, and to not forget the contribution that Alexander the Great and his generals made to changing the world forever. Take care, everybody. Yasas Filakia Kitaleme, and bye for now on this glorious autumn day. Let me just do a little panning shot so everyone can see, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.